All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, continuing our Clash of the Champions review series. It's going to be WCW Clash of the Champions 12, Fall Brawl, and what was the other name they had
Mountain
for it?
Madness.
Mountain Madness. All right, I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into it, man. We're going to cover some stuff here today. We got an interesting storyline going on now that Sting's world champion.
The Black Scorpion.
So we all know it eventually. It's eventually Ric Flair.
Eventually.
However, tonight we've got the imposter. I'll reveal who it was when we get to the main event. Um, it was a decent storyline. It was something you can kind of laugh at, but
It started off good, and
it just got
it was like a
totally
fart. It was like
cheesy.
a fart in church at the end.
Seriously. Um, Asheville, North Carolina, September 5th, 1990. This actually drew a 5.0 on
Pretty good.
TBS, which is one of their highest ratings ever. Ole Anderson can give himself a pat on the back because at this point now he is the new booker. I'll get into some of the stuff that he's doing when we get to the tag team match. But let's go ahead and kick it off. JR and Bob Caudle once again doing the commentary. Tony Schiavone, Missy Hyatt doing the interviewing backstage. Opening match, a rematch from the last Clash of the Champions, and it was also the opening match then. It is the Southern Boys versus the
Yep.
Fabulous Freebirds. This time the Freebirds got all dolled up with face paint. They mean business tonight. It
Bad
was,
Street.
yeah. Oh, I love that song. You start singing it and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's catchy. This was supposed to be a six-man tag team match, but allegedly Buddy Roberts was hurt.
Injured, yeah.
I call it the Shawn Michaels injury. And of course, Bullet Bob Armstrong was also supposed to be the Southern Boys partner. He was at ringside while Buddy Roberts, with the supposed arm injury, was at ringside for the Fabulous Freebirds.
What did they call the match? They changed it to Australian rules or something like that?
Yeah, which made no sense because it was a tag team match.
Uh, I don't know.
They just said we're going to go under Australian rules in this one, and I'm like,
And I was like, okay, what's the
what's the
difference?
difference? They get to stay at ringside.
I
You can do
guess.
that anyway. I don't know. It's WCW where the big boys play
Well,
and
not
the
yet.
rules don't mean shit.
It wasn't the big boys yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
You got 5 years from now, but you got
Yeah.
some pretty decent. You got some big
Yeah.
boys here right now. This match didn't disappoint. It was a great opening bout, just like they had the last time they fought. Crowd really into it down south, of course. They love the Fabulous Freebirds down, and this is Flair country, but it's also Freebird country. So the crowd really into this, kind of cheering for both teams. Freebirds did get some boos, but I mean they were overshadowed by the cheers. Match was done very well. During the match, naturally, while the referee was distracted outside by Buddy Roberts, Bob Armstrong actually gets involved in the match and came in and hit Hayes, who was going for the pin. Now, at the time, also Buddy Roberts gets involved as well because he tries to throw Michael Hayes a foreign object, which he completely misses. And both Southern Boys at that point both of them went for sunset flips on the Freebirds, and that's how they got the pin. After the match, the Freebirds attacked the Southern Boys and double DDT Bullet Bob Armstrong.
So
So
you
now
go.
they're leaving here as the heels.
Mhm.
This rivalry is far from over, and they'll actually fight again at the next Clash in November. So this feud
Yeah.
is definitely
Southern
heating up.
boys, man. The Southern boys.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
They're all
It's
right,
just
man. They weren't terrible. It's just the gimmick.
no,
Just like I said, this is the precursor to the Smoking Guns.
yeah, exactly. Only I think the Smoking Guns did it better.
Yeah, I mean they perfected the
They
gimmick.
actually gave Billy Gunn a compliment. Wow.
I always thought that he was fine in a tag team. It's just when he went solo that it was the shits.
Not to get off track. I thought when he came back as the one Billy Gunn in
Oh
2000,
God.
I really saw the IC title being put on him. I thought it was possible to push him, and then they just throw him back in the tag team again.
He
So,
just
I
he
don't
didn't
know.
have it, man. I don't want to. He had the look, but they
Have
just
you seen him recently?
yeah, he's in great shape, but
Tapping 60 and he's jacked.
I'm not sure how much of that is natural. But I don't want to go down.
Yeah,
I don't want to go down that
this is
rabbit
true.
hole.
This is true. All right. So anyway, following that, Tony Schiavone interviewed the United States Tag Champions, the Steiner brothers, which puts them in the clear path to doom as they will be the number one contenders. Later on, I'll break down the top 10 for both for the singles wrestlers as well as the tag team competitors. The tag team one kind of was a little crazy, but I'll get into that later.
I always like the red strap on the U.S. Tag
Yes,
championships. The red strap.
they had a nice logo on the belt.
Yeah.
I like the tag titles. They could have kept them, especially when WCW started expanding their roster.
Right, yeah.
You know, keeping a second set of tag titles could have worked. I even think to this day, you can still do. I mean, AEW does the trios titles, and I think WWE should do the same thing. But having the dual tag team champions back then, even though they had a diminished tag team roster, it still worked.
Yeah.
And I really did like the way these titles did look. It's funny how they're asking Rick Steiner a game plan for later on. He's like, "Oh, we don't have a game plan. We just go in there.
That's it. Yeah, that's all they need.
You ring the bell, they're just going to whoop your ass." That's it. And the Steiners are the hottest tag team right now in all of wrestling.
Yeah, they already proved themselves already. Quick too, right out of the gate.
Oh yeah, within a year. So our next match on the card featured Mike Rotonda, Captain Mike Rotonda. Versus Buddy Landell, who I'm surprised that fat pudgy bastard is in the top 10.
This was another waste of a match, I thought.
This one was, especially for Rotonda and his experience. But again,
he's not gonna.
The one foot is almost out the door at this point. So and after this, his gimmick is going to change to Michael Wall Street, which is really 1 foot out the door. So this match itself, it was not as good as I guess they thought. I guess as Ole Anderson thought it could be. Rotonda with a backslide move and a pin, and your ranked number 10, Buddy Landell, spoiler, has lost to Mike Rotonda. So you might want to rethink that top 10 list, boys.
Well, he was all up. Wait, who's the one that gets? Oh God.
Oh, Stan Hansen.
Okay, yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah.
Boy went batshit crazy when Schiavone told him what his number was. Yeah, we'll get to that later. Following that, Tony had interviewed the Fabulous Freebirds, who had said they're not done with the Southern Boys, but they are eyeing the Steiners and Doom at this point. Doom holding the World Tag Team titles at this point. So the Freebirds have got them on their radar. Now, the next match on the card was Brad Armstrong and Tim Horner, who were ranked, by the way, again, depleted tag team division, versus the Master Blasters of Steel and Iron, a.k.a. Kevin Nash and Corey Pendarvis. Now, Pendarvis was eventually replaced by Al Green. This was a short-lived with these two guys. Now, in the fall of 1990, there was no real monster tag teams because the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors were gone. The Skyscrapers at this point were dissolved following Dan Spivey's departure. And, of course, the entry of Mark Callis and Sid Vicious into singles careers. And, again, Mark Callis is also 1 foot out the door if he hasn't left already.
No, I think, because this is right before Survivor Series. This is October, so it's got to be right before.
So he's already out.
Yeah.
And Sid pursuing a singles career. So Ole Anderson, he brought in several new tag teams, monster tag teams at this point, one of them being the Master Blasters. And then he also brought in Maximum Overdrive, which isn't saying much, but he also brought in the Nasty Boys at this point, which, one out of 3 isn't bad.
Yeah, that's true.
So he was trying to bring in tag teams. The Master Blasters, with the exception of a really corny name, their look was very well done. I mean, it was kind of a rip off a little bit of the Road Warriors, you could tell.
Yeah, but they looked the part.
Exactly.
Wasn't Master Blaster a video game for NES?
Yeah. I hope he didn't get his name from that, but
I don't know. But it was also in one of the Mad Max movies too, right? Wasn't there? There was a character named Master Blaster, I think.
I think so, yeah. The names were really far fetched, like Maximum Overdrive.
That was the Stephen King movie.
Yep. Again, I guess now we know where Ole's getting his thoughts from. I mean, we'll get to Maximum Overdrive because they're going to face the Steiner brothers later on in this card. I thought the Master Blasters could have worked, give them a name change and make them more serious, but I guess once Al Green came in, it kind of didn't work anymore, and Kevin Nash at this point was going to go through a huge amount of re-gimmicking here, which is bad for him.
Eventually,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
eventually it gets better for him.
But he's got to leave in order for that to happen. So.
Exactly. Most people have to do that.
Yeah.
They have to leave, reinvent themselves, grow up a little bit, and then come back and go for your run. So this match, the Master Blasters, they did a double shoulder block on Tim Horner, which was the pin, and the Nash gets the pin on. The double shoulder block. Okay, you need a finishing move, guys.
Oh, I know. They give him. We'll cut him some slack though. They just kind of got there, you know.
Plus, they're facing trash.
Yeah.
I mean, Brad Armstrong and Tim Horner.
It's a work in progress.
Exactly. So, following that, Tony had interviewed Flying Brian Pillman. Who's going to be involved in something new that they were doing. They were doing a gauntlet that was going to start in that weekend. Mystery opponents. I believe if you win, it was you win $15,000 or something. But if you lose the bout or something, the money gets split. It's very weird. Again, something new that they're trying. It's pretty much a tournament, a blind tournament. That's all it is. You gotta have 3 matches in 3 days, and you don't know who your opponents are going to be. So Brian Pillman was the first that was announced for it. And they were going to do it on Power Hour, Saturday morning WCW, and then Sunday main event. So, and then, of course, following that, Missy Hyatt interviewed the Nature Boy Ric Flair about his match with Luger coming up later tonight for the United States Championship. So, now, our next match on the card was Jackie Fulton and Terry Taylor is now resurfaced in NWA since Red Rooster shit the bed. Facing the debut of Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, the Nasty Boys. So, like I said, 1 out of 3, Oli, you got this one right. So, and this match wasn't bad. I was actually rooting for the Nasty Boys because I don't care for Fulton or Taylor. Well, at least Terry Taylor not
Taylor made
in this match. Oh man, or wish list $1 million man Ted DiBiase.
The Nasty Boys were good though, especially early on. Early on, they were. They were good.
This run before they went to WWE wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. No,
when they got back was better.
You think so?
Yeah, because they had the huge feud with Harlem.
Well, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
So right now their run was good too. It wasn't. I'm not saying it was bad.
I just thought
one was better.
No, they definitely was. They accomplished more. Physically, because they were still good physically when they on their second run. They were still good. It wasn't until like 96, 97. They're kind of like, they're getting older.
They started getting phased out because you had the Steiners back, the NWO.
Yeah.
So they weren't really getting as much exposure.
Right.
And then when Jerry Saggs decided to call it quits, I really think Brian Knobbs should have just done the same thing because when he came back and was with Jimmy Hart, but teaming briefly with Hugh Morris and stuff, and then eventually into the garbage hardcore division, I think it should have just been over.
Yeah,
if your partner's not coming back, man, call it quits. Because you think of Knobs, the first thing you think of is Saggs. So not singles wrestling for them. So Saggs did a top rope elbow drop on Fulton. That's how the match was won. So the 2 of the debuting big tag teams have won tonight. With Master Blasters and the Nasties, of course, they didn't have competition. Maximum Overdrive, well, they get the winner chicken dinner. They get the Steiners. So, but of course, after the match, Terry Taylor attacked both Nasty Boys. So he was a little upset that they lost. Well, go figure. So, following that now, Tony Schiavone interviewed Sid Vicious, who this would be one of 2 times tonight that he will challenge Sting for the world title. I thought it was interesting. Now, he's still a member of the 4 Horsemen at this point. He's challenging for the title. I'm surprised Ric Flair's not saying something about that at this moment.
Ric Flair's he's preoccupied with Luger and the U.S. title now. He wants the U.S. title.
Yeah, because that would get him the number 1 contendership to Sting. But who knew all along that Flair was in his master plan with the Black Scorpion thing?
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Exactly. So, next match on the card was Wildfire, Tommy Rich, versus Wild Bill Irwin, or how I like to call him, the Goon in WWE.
Yeah, no, that's a waste.
Again, every time Tommy Rich is in the ring, they always remind us, oh, Tommy Rich was the third youngest world heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
He beat Harley Race in 1981 to capture the title. And right now, what he's doing is he's pulling a Bob Backlund, or I should say, Bob Backlund pulled a Tommy Rich, where you left and now you're coming back for a second run. Neither one of you, well, Backlund got the title. I don't still to this day know why. But Tommy Rich was never going to be world champion again. I mean, I don't even know how. I mean, I guess I got to go back into the archives and watch that, if I can find it, watch that match with him and Harley Race and see what he looked like back then. Maybe he was hot enough to do it. I don't know. But if he's coming back for a second run, fighting Wild Bill Irwin is not going to give it to you. And especially when you win by doing a Lou Thesz press into a pin, and that's how he beat Irwin. So this should have been on the Power Hour, not on the Clash. The name means something. Clash of the Champions, not clash of all the pieces of garbage we got in the locker room that need exposure. You know, this event should be all best of the best going at it every time we put this card out there. So I don't know. Following this now, they did the top 10. Now, the WCW singles competitors top 10 is as follows. I'm going from 10 all the way to number 1. At number 10, Buddy Landell. Well, after tonight, I don't think so anymore. Number 9, Wildfire Tommy Rich. Number 8, JYD. Number 7, Flying Brian Pillman. Number 6, Stan Hansen, and he's not going to be happy when Tony tells him that. At number 5, Sid Vicious, which I thought was wrong. Number 4, Barry Windham. 3, Arn Anderson, television champion. Number 2, Nature Boy Ric Flair, and at number 1, the United States champion Lex Luger.
Right.
I thought Vicious should at least been in the top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 3 of the 4 horsemen in the top 5, which is pretty impressive. I just thought Vicious should have been flip-flop, but it is what it is. The top 10 for the tag teams now. Number 10, you had Mike Rotonda and Tim Horner. It's funny because they didn't team together tonight. Tim Horner was with Brad Armstrong, but okay. At number 9, this is a funny, interesting tag team. JYD and El Gigante.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they were a tag team.
At number 8, Flying Brian and the Z-Man. At number 7, the Samoan SWAT team. Number 6, the Fabulous Freebirds, which I thought was kind of low for them, but 2 losses to the Southern Boys will do that. Speaking of them, number 5, the Southern Boys. Number 4, Midnight Express. At 3, you had the Horsemen. Number 2, the Rock and Roll Express. And at number 1, the U.S. Tag Champions, the Steiner Brothers, and of course, Doom carrying the World Tag Team titles. So, not a bad tag team division, really. There are some matches in there I kind of like to see. Steiners and Rock and Roll Express come to mind to me. I'd like to see that match. So, next, excuse me. The next on the card, next thing was Tony Schiavone had interviewed Stan Hansen. Hansen's got a match later on against Z-Man. And he mentions to him how he's number 6. He goes, what?
It was too high. Number 6 is too high for him.
Oh, yeah, it is. Because he said, I've never been number 6 at anything.
What the hell is he complaining about? It's too high.
I don't know, but he said he was going to make his point because he wanted Sting. But he mentioned Luger more because Luger is number 1.
Right.
So this is pretty much what started their feud for the U.S. title. But he was irate, and of course he leaves, and Schiavone's like, back to you guys. This guy stinks. He's nasty. And hey, that was Stan Hansen, man. So next match on the card was for the LPWA title, Ladies Professional Wrestling Association Championship. I don't know. Susie Sexton defending the title against Bambi.
Yeah.
And the whole time, Ross and Carl are wondering, what's her last name? Deer? Oh, boy. I know Bambi was in AWA for a while, and I believe Susie Sexton was there as well. So, you know, this could be a interpromotional agreement that they have.
It's a match nobody cared about.
Not really. Bambi went for inside cradle that Sexton reversed, and Sexton
Yeah.
keeps the title. This was kind of a fan favorite match, despite the fact that Sexton was being booed. They shook hands before and
Yeah.
after the match. Like Bobby Heenan would say, you shake hands and then you wallop them with the belt. With the belt. So, yeah, I didn't understand this match on here, but whatever. What are you going to do? Next match on the card was the Steiner brothers in a non-title match versus Maximum Overdrive,
Mhm.
JW Storm and Tim Hunt. If anybody wanted to know who they were,
I don't think anybody did, but
no, because they weren't really around a long time either. Unfortunately, their wrestling wasn't bad.
no,
They
no.
did take it toe to toe with the Steiners.
They tried. They tried. They put up a fight.
I love how the Steiners once again recreate a move that they probably did with their action figures. Scott Steiner on the top rope, while Rick Steiner has one of them on his shoulders and does a top rope DDT on them and gets the pin.
Crazy.
These guys are coming up with
Mhm.
some sick shit every week, and I'm surprised they're not killing each other.
Mhm.
Especially Scott with all those crazy moves at this point. But like I said, they are the hottest tag team
Yep.
in all of wrestling right now.
Easily.
So they're over the Hart Foundation, over the Legion of Doom, they're over Demolition, who's at this point is pretty much freaking gone anyway. But yes, hottest tag team there is right now. And there's a dream match for you. Steiners and the Hearts, if they could ever go at it.
Yeah.
So next match on the card was Z-Man, this poor guy. Wrong place,
Yeah.
right place, wrong time. Because he's got to face Stan
Yeah.
Hansen. And Hansen is just beating
Mhm.
him like a government mule because
Go to
of this
post.
number 6 seed that he's got. And I mean, it just was he just went crazy pretty much. And he wins by pretty much his version of a clothesline. He calls it the lariat, that Stan the
Mhm.
Lariat Hansen. Gives Steve Man a lariat and the pin. And Stan is not done tonight, not by a long shot. But he does get the victory. So hopefully, this will move him up in the standings. If not, what he does later will take care of that. So following this match, Tony had interviewed Lex Luger. They showed the highlights of his match previously with Ric Flair for Wrestle War, which was a pretty good match. This feud is not over yet. Lex Luger has unfinished business with Ric Flair. Ric Flair wants the U.S. title to catapult him back to Sting. So we'll see what happens later on in the night. And for the NWA United States Championship, well, I think it was still called NWA titles, even though it was WCW. I think they were still going through the transition. Mm-hmm. Lex Luger defending the U.S. title against Ric Flair. This was a very good match on the card. Could have easily been the main event, even though, main event was Sting and Black Scorpion.
I mean, yeah.
But it's the world title, so obviously it's the main event. But this match was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed this one. Unfortunately, you don't get a clean victory on this one. Why? Because Crazy Man Stan Hansen comes out,
made his way down,
and attacked Lex Luger. Ric Flair gets disqualified, and now Stan is beating number 6 ranking into Lex Luger. So this is going to. Yep. Well, what this does is it's going to give him the U.S. title briefly. That's what it's going to do. But I didn't like that feud. I'm not a Stan Hansen fan. He spent most of his time over in Japan with Vader. That's what he's most famous for over there. So, him coming over here and just the way he was, not working for me. But they saw something in him briefly. So, like I said, he's going to lock up with Luger. Now, after this, they showed the earlier comments from the Black Scorpion.
Yep.
Plus Tony Schiavone interviewing Sting, who is just baffled by whoever this is.
Someone from his past.
Well, we come to find out later on in the year that it is Ric Flair. Obviously, you could tell when he had the mask on him that night. Now, it obviously can't be Ric Flair tonight because he just fought a 15-minute plus match. This was Al Perez. It was
Al Perez. The thing was with Ole is that he came up with the idea, but he didn't know where to go with it. So it becoming Ric Flair was just a matter of oh damn, we don't even know where we're going with this. We'll just make it Ric Flair. It's not like they started out. The initial plan wasn't like
No, it wasn't. It wasn't supposed to be
yeah,
Flair.
yeah. So and then
They just,
what we got. This was crap. It's
It
crap.
was because they couldn't come up with somebody, signing
impact.
somebody,
Yeah,
bringing somebody in.
A storyline that really made
Somebody
sense.
from his past back in '86.
Right. Well, Warrior wasn't available, so they couldn't get him. But
Thank God.
no,
So,
actually, imagine like that actually could have been okay.
Sting versus Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior would have had to turn heel, though. I guess maybe it wouldn't have worked out. But on paper, it sounded good. Anyway,
I could. Those two guys, I could never see turning heel, and of course, naturally, leave it to WCW to do something stupid like that.
Sting turns heel, yeah.
Turning, just like I've said, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, they turned him heel.
Yeah.
Turning Sting heel,
didn't work.
I mean, that was crap.
Oh.
It's just as bad as turning Ric Flair babyface.
Yeah,
just doesn't work. And this match really wasn't all that good. I wasn't really impressed by it. A Stinger splash and a pin, and Sting retains the WCW title.
But
now there's more.
Yeah.
Takes the mask off. There's another mask on him.
Yeah.
And then coming down the rampway was another
Scorpion. The real Black Scorpion.
Yeah, with a mustache, mind you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this really wasn't thought. They should have thought the whole thing out from beginning.
Dude, you're asking too much. You're asking too much there for WCW to have like a long-term booking, like a long-term plan. No.
Yeah, what was I thinking?
Yeah. So,
I mean, I could say if I was booking, but I would. Me and 26 million other people, saying the same thing.
I just thought this was an anticlimactic ending to the Black.
Especially this being
it's not even the end
title
of it.
match.
Not even the end of it. It keeps going, right? Yeah, it keeps going for a little bit, and then it's revealed. So, anyway, as far as this clash, this is just. I didn't care for the ending.
We're not even done.
Well, that's right. That's right. Yeah, but
we're forgetting that Jim Ross interviews Sting.
Yes,
and that he's shaking his head and scratching his head
the whole
about something.
Yeah.
And then here comes Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't made myself clear.
Yeah.
I'm challenging you for the title, and Sting's like, look, go to the championship committee, talk to them. I'm trying to figure out who this Black Scorpion is, and he blows him off.
Yeah,
which you don't.
Well, he didn't really completely blow him. He says, I guess he kind of sort of did. He was like, listen, I got my hands full. Go to the committee.
Like, I ain't got time for you. Go away.
And he walks away. You don't turn your back on Sid.
No, you do not. And then Sid beat the holy hell out of him.
Yeah, hit him with the belt, whipped his ass. So apparently, in order for you to get a title shot, all you got to do is just come out and attack the champion, and you'll get a title shot. Because it happens twice, right?
Yep.
Hanson attacking Luger, and then with
Vicious attacking.
You skip that'll you just skip the rankings that way. Just
all right. Hey, Z-Man, you want a title shot?
Yeah,
go out next week and just wall up Sting with the belt.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you get your title shot.
I mean, the Sting and Sid thing is okay because it sets up Halloween Havoc, right?
Yeah.
So that's fine. But
this Black Scorpion thing
is crap. So overall, this clash and
it was all right.
It had its moments.
I would have put Luger and Flair as the main event.
Yeah, but
but I know you can't because of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, on paper it looks good, but executed not so well. Again, 3 debuting tag teams. Mm-hmm. 2 of them come out with a victory. 1 will actually last. So that wasn't bad. But yeah, this Black Scorpion storyline. Yeah, we got a few more months for this.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys soon.
Take care.